And thank you everyone participating in this webinar. It's a great honor to be sharing the work we do and have a discussion on how we can bring technology to really support good all around the world. So my presentation is basically around how technology can be used for good and spreading services needed for everyone and make that accessible. I will start very quickly by explaining a little about Ericsson, because Ericsson is a business-to-business company, which means that we serve the mobile operators, which is then the customer base for GSMA, which was described before. So we serve, for example, Safaricom, MTN, etc., with all the network equipment and services to actually run the networks in which all these different services use for getting served. We're a Swedish-based company, but we have customers in more than 180 countries. If you look on mobile calls, 40% of the world's all mobile calls pass through networks we have provided to the mobile network operators. And we have been 135 years in the telecoms market and more than 100 years in Africa with our own offices, etc. Just to give you a little brief overview, what is it we have as a products, I will share the history of innovations where we started in 1876 with the telephone and switching. You switch the phone calls and the automatic switching throughout to today's LTE networks. So to the right-hand side, you can see some of the products and the product evolution which we provide to the mobile network operators. This position we have enables us to be agnostic in the sense of which device you use to access the services. So for example, you could access the mobile money service via a handset or via a phone or via a smartphone or a pad or whatever. We are the backbone of that delivery of the service. Also, we don't develop the practical solutions, but we support the mobile operators to understand in what way the network as such can be used to a great extent. And we work very closely together with GSMA in order to serve the mobile operators with insights in a great way. So based on that first description, I would like to walk you through in what way we work with technology for good in this specific topic as of today. So coming into mobile technology and the empowerment of that, we work with two different focus areas. One is the socioeconomic benefits and how can we as a telecommunications network provider contribute to making sure that everyone get access to services such as health, education, livelihood, money services, etc. through the commercial networks. And we also work very actively with the energy, environment and climate change area with the same focus. And basically what we do is that we support and take the risk together with mobile operators to see how we can build sustainable business cases by expanding into offering services fit for user segments. And we also show governments what value can be delivered using the commercial network. And what we have selected strategically to do is to work from the Millennium Development Goals. So we, as Ericsson, have committed to help to achieve the Millennium Development Goals by promoting affordable access to telecommunications. And what I wanted to show here is that we have heard in the introduction that access to telecommunications and mobile phone spread is increasing dramatically. And this is, of course, the basis for our thought that the commercial build-out and the drive of the accessibility is something that could be used very well to mitigate on the world's most challenging questions. So we have more than 6 billion mobile subscriptions worldwide, where more than 40% are in sub-Saharan Africa, which is, of course, much more than the internet access points. And when it comes to voice and mobile subscriptions, what we show also on this slide, in which we try to advocate, is around the mobile broadband to enable even better services. As we think that there is a business case, and we also show that for example, serving healthcare staff in remote areas with training via video, is something that can help mitigate the knowledge gap between and the knowledge educational problem, for example, for healthcare workers in many parts of the world. And that is one of the possibilities by using the build-out of different accesses. So how do we do that, and how do we share and drive this? What we do, which is very basic for us, is that we take part in active implementation of proof of concept projects showing that there is a sustainable business case for all actors within the area. We are not doing philanthropy, we're doing it with core business. We partner with our customers, which is then the leading mobile operators of the world. As we are not then experts in either health or education or livelihood, we partner with someone who is that. So, for example, we partner with UNHCR, we could partner with World Meteorological Organization, and we build a partnership to describe and understand and build a concept around how can you actually solve the issues of delivering services, information, knowledge to everyone. And then we do impact assessment, monitoring and evaluation, etc. What is very important when we work on this is that we want to build on the sustainable scale of the mobile development. It actually is spread, it is there. It is just that you have to be used in a smart way, just as the mobile money has shown that this is something that can be used. What we try to do is to show the same kind of business cases for education and health, which are even more complex than mobile money. But it's very important for us to show that there are business models which are sustainable over time, so that actually each of the actors can afford, for example, which was mentioned before, and marketing, making sure you have the intermediaries and reach out to make your subscribers to the service active and not only passive. So that is included in the models we work with. So to give you a little more flesh on the bones, I would like to share with you a couple of the initiatives we're working on. The first one is Connect to Learn. It's one of our flagship programs, which we work together with Earth Institute and different mobile operators around the world. What we do is that we want to support access to secondary education and quality learning, and we want to make sure we can support advocates for learning and 21st century learning. And this is especially then for more rural areas. So what we have done is that through our technology knowledge, we see that mobile broadband actually can help deliver a 21st century education. However, this is of course in very much of the forefront of using mobile broadband. And here we are not the educational experts, and that's why we work together with the Earth Institute, for example, in understanding how this could be done. What is interesting with the Connect to Learn is that when you look into the business case of how can learning be taken to the next level, one is the connectivity. You need a mobile broadband in order to be able to share the best. For example, if you want to share the best of lessons from other parts of the world, then you need a good network connectivity. And the other thing is that if you want to use computers in school, there has been a number of those initiatives, and some of them have had issues with actually the schools not having proper IT support. So once you have connectivity, which hasn't been a case everywhere, then the problem of downloading and upgrading the computers in a dusty environment has been another problem, which is of course a very costly issue. So coming to the educational question, we work with all of these areas. For example, what is a durable laptop? What does it look like in that environment? And we also work with the absolute most forefront technology, which is then cloud technology, in order to minimize the operational costs for involved parties. So all content is then on the cloud, which means that you don't need very heavy IT support expenses. And this is the way how you can work to mitigate and find through technology. Advanced technology is actually needed to help mitigating some of these challenges, where operational costs is of course a big challenge. Another of the examples I want to share with you is where we work with refugees. One of the most underserved segments in the world is refugees, and they also, a lot of them are fear of persecution. And in order to support that, we have joined with UNHCR and a non-governmental organization called Refugees United, where we have ported their internet and laptop version into a WAP tool, a web internet-based mobile phone tool. And here what we do is that we have, with our previous knowledge, adapted it to actually work with any connectivity. It has a lot of similarities with the mobile money in the area, and how do you reach out and explain the service to people who are to use an internet service for the first time. Interestingly enough, we see that there are mobile phones even in refugee settlements in the most remote areas. Even if you're illiterate, you do use the mobile phones. And the service as such is aiming to help refugees to find lost family, which is one of the most common events that happen when you flee from your normal building, is that you actually don't know the whereabouts of your sister, your brother, your mother, etc. And there has up till now not been any way to actually find each other, where of course telecommunications and the communications means is a perfect solution to that. One of the main challenges is here, of course, to make it a privacy, and also to explain and get the education, understanding what happens when you use telecommunications and when you post data onto the networks. The last I want to share with you is an activity on Lake Victoria, which was started quite many years ago, but by now we have a pilot in the Lake Victoria at the Kalangala Islands in Uganda with 1,000 fishermen, who has been provided through a public partnership with the World Meteorological Organization, Uganda Department of Met, in providing tailor-made weather warnings every morning to fishermen on their specific area, fishing area in the lake, whether it's safe or not to go out or to take precautions. This is together with MTN Uganda, and we have made surveys with all the fishermen, but also looked into what is the viable business case for actually paying for the service, and what value does it have to the fishermen. And what we've seen is that there is a big value of getting the information. There is a business case for at least covering expenses for the involved parties, and that the tool is used in order to prevent deaths on the lake by actually doing simple things as filling up more fuel before going out on the lake in order to be able to get back to shore if winds and waves are getting high. Basically, that is what I wanted to share today on how we try to show how technology can be used for good and by empowering people.